Having 206 Marines that I lead on a daily basis, you never know when one of those young Marines is going to come up and expect a certain level of conversation from you.
You can go to schools such as the Staff NCO Academies, you can take your online distant education, but that shouldn't be the extent of your resources or your learning. And so when it comes to the reading program, you're able to supplement that education that you receive in those academies and on those online sources.
The biggest complaint that you get from many Marines is, well, first of all, I just don't have that kind of time to read all the time.
I have to read these books. I have to be able to encourage them to read, and I couldn't just tell them to do something I'm not willing to do.
A lot of it is just us as leaders engaging the young lieutenant and the staff sergeant that might not necessarily have been exposed to a program before.
Maybe pick a particular book that's small or easy to read, like Core Values by Zell Miller. Very small book, very easy to read, and also implementing some type of discussion in there and reading it together as a unit. That I think is a little bit more effective than just saying, read this really thick book with a lot of words and it's going to take you a long time. If you break it down to Marines in those simple terms, it's more effective.
But you could read the same book as a Lance Corporal, read it again as a First Sergeant, and because of the different level you have in the Marine Corps, one, it may ground you back to that level of what it was like at that time, or two, your experience level has changed, and so the way you perceive that book, the way you interpret that book, would probably be significantly different.
When we go out to the field, it's a great opportunity to engage Marines in the reading program because we have so much time in between our training evolutions. And the last time we went out to the field, we made every Marine read Gates of Fire, and then we'd have them get together in the evenings and do guided discussions.
I recently had a nephew that just enlisted in the Marine Corps. He was entering the pipeline to become an 0311, and that's what he wanted to do. About midway through the training, when they start to branch off into their specific MOSs, he was selected to become a mortarman. At that time, I was wondering and kind of trying to figure out how to re-motivate him, re-energize him into what to him was kind of a big deal. And so I selected the book With the Old Breed, which is about a mortarman through the Pacific Island hopping campaigns, Peleliu, Okinawa, and I asked him to read it. I bought it for him and I asked him to read it. About 2 weeks later, I came over to the house for Thanksgiving, and his words were, I couldn't imagine how much it would actually motivate me and move me to hear, feel, smell everything about combat. And it re-energized him, got him ready to go, and really I think kind of brought that feeling he had from boot camp back into what he was doing at the School of Infantry.
Hard-won lessons. Not everybody has those, and reading sometimes is the quickest way to those.
Today's generation, they don't really have the opportunity to engage in the types of environments, whether it's combative or humanitarian assistance or anything of that nature, that they were able to. And if they can read up on it, then they're gaining that experience through reading. All
the challenges that occur today, or environments in the world that we face today, has already occurred before, at some level, even hundreds of years ago.
Great commanders go to war with books to be able to look back and see, in this situation, what did he do? How did he go about it? Not because that's what the decision he's going to make is, but he's got more insight on how somebody else thinks. He's got an unbiased opinion sitting right in front of him to help him establish a foundation for which he hopes to go forward with.
The more we educate ourselves, the more we're able to read and discover some of those things. We prepare ourselves for what we don't know. We prepare ourselves for whatever's in the future, whatever geographical location, whatever circumstances out there. It may not fit in an exact book, but the more you read, the more topics you dive into, it broadens your perceptions, it broadens your ability to adapt to different situations and create your own story, quite frankly.